Welcome inside the IKS Media Studios for another edition of SJHL Weekly, presented by our friends at UPL. I'm Clark Munroe, your host today. It's an exciting day. We had a busy 11-game weekend. We'll recap that for you today. Plus, we're going to announce Players of the Week. Big week for some guys. We'll get into that in a little while. And anytime this guy joins us, it's always a good time. We're going to be joined by voice of the Estevan Bruins, Marty Martinson. So it's going to be a great time. They're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. So it's exciting times in the Energy City. And we're going to look ahead to a busy week coming up as well. But let's take a look and thank our sponsors. First off, that's Cantera Seats, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vaderstad. And before we get started, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, please hit the like and share buttons, comment in throughout the show. We'll get to your comments throughout and maybe bring up some topics we might talk about throughout the day. But speaking of we and what we will talk about today, to my left is Jamie Neugebauer, and I guess we're a little bit themed today, Jamie, because obviously we have a lot to talk about hockey-wise, but it's some of the most exciting two words in sports. Game 7, Toronto Blue Jays, Seattle Mariners. I know we're going to talk about hockey, Jamie, but how excited are you for this?
Nervous, I guess. Jacob Faith, the director of marketing, the fine director of marketing for our league, I was just saying before the show, and I can't agree more, that being terrified of Game 7s is in the Toronto sports DNA.
Oh, boy.
So he's right, usually is. And yeah, so excited? I don't know if I'm excited. I think I might lose some fingernails tonight. How about you, Clark?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. This is the type of nervous energy you want as a sports fan, right? Yeah. This is what it's all about. So that's why we're here. That's why we're Jays fans. We haven't had a Game 7 to this magnitude in 20, 30 some years.
But whatever happens, I'm so proud of this group of Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah.
They've gone above and beyond. Go back and not last week's Insider, but the week Insider before, I had a couple thoughts about what SJHL players and anybody can kind of learn from this group of Blue Jays. Even if they lose tonight, I'll be disappointed, but so proud of that group.
Absolutely.
And they represented Blue Jays Nation everywhere very well.
Well, let's switch gears. We'll jump back onto the ice surfaces across the province. We had 11 games this weekend, so why don't we kick it off with our Sask Lotteries look back. And of course, that means we're going to have a look at the Elkridge scorecard for Friday, October 17th. Estevan, a big win, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Estevan today, obviously with our guest, Marty Martinson, but just a little bit in our headlines as well, because they've had a huge last couple of weeks. 7-1 win over the previously nationally ranked Nipawin Hawks. So a big win for them. The Kindersley Clippers got a nice 3-2 win over the Melville Millionaires on Friday. Battleford's quadrupled up Warman with an 8-2 win on the road. Weyburn with a huge, and again, we'll talk about the Bungie division because, wow, they have come to play lately. 5-1 win over Flin Flon for Weyburn. Big win there. Humboldt with a big 6-1 win over LaRange. And then Melfort and Yorkton, what a great game that one was. A 5-4 win for Melfort at the Northern Lights Palace on Friday. And then on Saturday, Kindersley got in on the scoring action, 10-3 over Melville. Weyburn with another big win over the Nipawin. So Nipawin having a tough couple of days against Bungie Division teams. Weyburn with a 6-2 win there. Yorkton, what a game that was for Callum Craig, a 2-0 win, shutout win over the Melfort Mustangs, the reigning champions, of course. Estevan, they continue their hot streak with a big 4-2 win over Flin Flon. And we'll talk about Flin Flon as well, Nugsy, today. Warman snuck out a big win, their first win at home in a shootout over the Battleford's North Stars 4-3. So there we go. There's a look at the weekend. Let's have a check-in now with our headlines. Of course, thank you, Sask Lotteries. Look back there, of course. Our headlines today, we're going to start with the Estevan Bruins. They have mauled the UPL division in the last week, Nugsy. Wins over Melfort, Nipawin, and Flin Flon. So it's an exciting time in the Energy City. What can we talk about right now? Again, we're going to talk to Marty Martinson shortly, but wow, Ewan Rennie has been unbelievable. Rylan Williams has been unbelievable. Ethan Andrews has really stepped up in a big way. What else have you seen? What's going right with the Bruins right now?
Yeah, lots. I mean, the first thing I'll say is they are in the midst of a really long homestand, and so that really helps, I'm sure. I know Drew Kosher is pushing this group real hard in practices. We were trying to get a player on today for the guest, and apparently they're doing 2-a-day skates. So It was tough to get anybody on the show. But anyways, that being said, I obviously love those Bruins boys. They're good ones. So I'm not surprised they're kind of coming together. And they ran into a Nipawin Hawks team that is really dealing with injuries right now. I know that's no excuse. So again, not trying to take anything away from this group of Bruins, but I got to mention from the Nipawin side, the injury bug is hitting the Hawks super hard right now. Speaking of hitting hard, that was a big hit right there. That was a little segue.
Great
But
timing.
you know what? Look, they brought in Ryland Williams in the offseason for a trade. They brought in all these guys, and some of those guys could have come in and said, bad attitude. I was traded. Woe is me. Things haven't gone great in my junior career like I expected them to, blah, blah, blah. But what have they done? They've come in with a great attitude. My good buddy Ethan Andrews, who I think the world of, has come in and played huge minutes and done very well, leading as probably the only veteran on a very, very young D-core.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's played big minutes and played very well. And the last thing Clark is, and I know you're a big goalie guy, obviously they've got Dylan Adams, but what about that backup matchup with Carr and Cam?
Yeah.
They got two guys back there that they believe in too on a given night. It's all flying right now for Estevan. I know Drew Kosher is going to keep them humble and whatever, because they're going to have a lot more road games later in the year, but you got to make hay, and nothing's easy in this league.
Yeah,
so
you got to win. You got to win the
Yeah.
games in front of you, right? And I think one of the things that we had talked about prior to the season was they're going to have some guys who can score up front. What's their blue line going to look like? That obviously Logan Goodwin at the beginning of the year, that all kind of happened, and we again, that was another question mark being added at that time. But like you said, Ethan Andrews has really stepped up, at least with the offensive production for sure. And Alex Sheck is another guy who has had some veteran. He's had a little bit of experience, but otherwise, that's it. It's all rookies. It's all
they
new
have
guys.
09 birth year, Isaac Pohl in the lineup too, the younger brother there of the Saskatoon Blades defenseman. So, hey, and apparently he's really holding his own, 09 defenseman. So, hey, Drew Kosher and the boys, they deserve a lot of credit.
Ton of credit to Drew Kosher, because you mentioned the big trade that brought in Ryland Williams, Dylan Adams, Alex Sheck, and of course Logan Goodwin, who is no longer with the team.
For the rights to Kent Moores.
Right, Kent Moores, who, I mean, big name, but, right now he's not in the league. So that's a huge trade. Bringing in Colton Getzlaff to kind of really solidify that middle six, because he's really taken a hold of that second line there. Bringing in Noah Asmundson, who has perfect fit as a 20-year-old in his 20-year-old year in that roster. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Estevan. So I'm going to save all the glazing, as the kids say, for a little bit later on when Marty Martinson jumps in. We'll talk more about the Bruins, but just a huge stretch for them. 6 games undefeated in a row, so big stretch for them. And let's stay on the Bungie division. Let's go back to the headlines, please, gentlemen. We'll stay on the Bungie division. We're going to focus in a little bit on Yorkton and Weyburn. Melville we'll talk about a little bit, but we called it the Bungie jump because Weyburn has jumped up the standings. Yorkton has jumped up the standings from where they were a week ago, and Estevan obviously as well, but we just talked about Estevan a lot. So let's focus in on Yorkton and Weyburn. Where do you want to start, Nugsy?
Yeah, I think that the Yorkton Terriers, again, the thing that Emery Lawson, was really high on last year, all year long, was no excuses. Whoever's out, oh well. This is what people are saying about us. Oh well. Where a mistake here and there happened administratively, oh well. Like, we move on, and I think, guys like Denwye and Coyle set a standard in terms of leadership, not just in terms of talent, with this team. And I think, a lot of those guys, obviously, I could talk a whole show about what I think of Thomas Reese. I have before, I will again. I'm such a big fan of that kid in all different ways. But those type of leaders, when your best players are your hardest working, are your highest character, this is the type of thing that can happen. Now, are they absolutely lighting on the league on fire right now? No, but you look in these games against, Melfort, they could have won both. Jacob Faith, and I think Kamish was in the building maybe too. Was he in the building when Melfort? No, it was just Jacob was in the building when Melfort was at home there, and it was a close game. Could have gone either way. Yorkton had a huge second period. Bryson Aikens had the hat trick there for Melfort. But hey, you know what? The Yorkton Terriers, again, you start with a good goalie in Craig. Clearly, they got another good one in Montoya. And you build out. You got a superstar in Tommy Reese. You build in with Corshane. You have got Zawadzki, who's taken another step, etc. And they got some good young players that I really like too. So the Yorkton Terriers are never going to be an easy out.
And then we'll switch gears to Weyburn, who has won 6 in a row. They're the hottest team in the league right now. Jeremy Corrigan, chime in. Obviously, he's excited for the Jays game tonight as well. Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, so we'll switch gears to Weyburn as they had another big week, but they've won 6 in a row. They're first place in the league right now. I want to quote a conversation I had with their goaltending coach, Daniel Wapple, and I hope, Daniel, you don't mind me saying this, but when we did our preseason rankings, he texted me and said, "Don't sleep on Weyburn."
No.
And I said, "Okay, I understand. I believe you. But I don't know if I believed him to this extent. These guys are right now are basically running the league." What can we say about Weyburn? I know we talked about them a little bit last show. With this last weekly episode was 2 weeks ago.
You're back, Clark.
Yeah, we didn't have an episode last week. I wasn't around last week. This week is now 2 weeks since we've had a weekly episode. So
and Weyburn's still doing very well, so it's all good.
They're still doing great. But what can we say about the Weyburn Red Wings?
Well, and so they look to me a lot like Melfort did all of last year, and that is ready for playoff-style hockey from the draw. You know, the question is not just whether you played in a finals last year, which they did, but did they have guys that had roles that were important in the finals last year? And they still do. You look at Moldy, you look at Schmid, you look at Carmen, you look at Schrader, you look at Simon Martin. You go down the list, obviously, you know, Matanovic and Patnaud have both been excellent in net too, but you know, and they were around. So they had that rub off, but it's not just about hanging along for the ride. It's they literally have the experience of what it's like to win then. And Cody Mapes has said to this group, hey, start playing that way now, then it'll just be your normal way of playing.
Right.
And they are not giving anybody time and space.
Yeah.
D pucks on the other team, like it is contested. They're in your face right away. It's not September, October hockey when you play at the Whitecaps Resources Center right now. Weyburn's in your face. And you know, they got the skill to do it. They added Pierce, obviously he's doing his thing. You know, you add in Turner McIntyre healthy, which is so great to see. You know, that's what the Weyburn Red Wings are doing. They're no fun to play against right now, and they've done it from the jump this year, just like Melfort last year. So
I was just going to say, they kind of remind me of how Melfort was structured last year. Extremely hard to play against, very good forechecking, all over the ice, good pressure, I should say, all over the ice. And they're getting goaltending, and we'll talk about their goaltending a little bit later on, maybe, possibly.
It's interesting, like, you know, Cody Mapes is a guy that learns, you know, where he can from when he can. He's not afraid to admit he likes this coach and that coach in the league and learns from what he can see. And clearly he was watching how Trevor Blevins runs his team. He loves how Doug Johnson runs his team in Melville.
How couldn't you?
Go down the list. Like, he's learned and soaked up and done a wonderful job building this team, and they're playing his way.
And I think the biggest thing that has maybe, I'm going to say, surprised me a little bit, is I think our biggest question mark for the Weyburn Red Wings coming into the season was how are they going to replace that dynamic, electric offense that they had last year? And I think I'm going to take a little bit of ownership over my lack of respect, I'm going to say, for Lucas Schmid. I didn't see him being the guy having 17 points in 11 games. Rookie Rowan Burgess, didn't see him having 14 points in 12 games. And Callis Pierce, Nugsy, you called him out as your newcomer to watch before the season. That's a huge addition to have a guy over a point per game from nowhere. Like, he wasn't on the roster last year. So, and then you mentioned Turner McIntyre, Luke DK coming back a point per game right now. Drew Moldy, like you said, a huge step up, I think, for him as well. So they have replaced that scoring to this point. Will that continue? We'll have to see.
My one caveat again about Weyburn, just like Estevan, they're playing a ton of home games lately.
Sure.
So, again, not taking away. They're playing great. Estevan's playing great. But can you just do it when you're on the road a ton too?
Right.
And you know, we may get into a team here coming up with the storylines that are away from home a lot right now, and they're struggling as a result. So
yes, anyway. A little teaser for a couple points from here. And with Melville, we talk about the Bungie division. We can't skip out on Melville. I mean, they're 4-5-1-2 so far this season. I'm not going to say that's disastrous. It's not. They're right in the mix. They're tied with Yorkton. So really, we shouldn't be talking about Yorkton having a good stretch without saying that they're still tied with Melville in points. But Melville just hasn't quite found that consistency in that groove yet. So I still think, and Nugsy, you predicted that they would win the division. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying I still think there's a ton of talent on that roster. I think it's a good system. They just haven't quite found it yet. So we'll see how that goes in the next couple weeks. It's not over for Melville by any means necessary. Let's move on. Let's go back to the headlines here. We'll go to point number 3, which is the Clips are streaking. And of course, that means the Kindersley Clippers, they haven't lost a game in regulation in 9 regulation games.
They've only won it once all year.
Yeah, exactly. Once all year. They're 6-1, 2-2 this season. And you talked on Thursday a great chat with with Ryan Gibson, the general manager of the Clippers. So what did you learn on Thursday from him? And also, what did you learn just from this weekend's results and this past week's results, I should say?
One thing I learned is, obviously, like, I have a huge amount of belief in Kyle Schneider. I think he's a terrific coach, and I think Drew Kosher's a terrific coach. But we tend to look at really young coaches and are just like, how's it going to go?
Right.
Will they be able to hold guys accountable? Blah blah blah. Those guys have both done terrific jobs so far.
Terrific jobs.
So there's the answer to whether those guys are too young or not. They are not too young. They are doing great.
Yeah.
Look, and obviously you're only as good as the players you have.
Sure.
Obviously Ryan Gibson and Clayton Jardine deserves credit and whatever. They've built this team. Have the Clippers team actually drop points? Could they be even better in the standings than they are? I think so. If they
A lot of
could
overtime
play
games.
60 minutes and not let off their foot off the gas at different times this year. As good as they've been, they could have even have been better, and I'm sure they are like that in their room. They've been away from home. They've been taking care of business. They jumped on a Melville team that just didn't show up that night, unfortunately. If you're a Melville Millionaires fan, that's just the case, and it's going to happen over the course of a season. But here's what I'll say in general about the league as well, but the Kindersley Clippers are the outlier to me, is that this league is a very young league right now. This is the youngest SJHL league I've seen in a long time, and with youth, which we're all crying for. Come on, let's get youth. Let's get more eyeballs because we want younger players. That's what junior hockey's going, blah, blah, blah. Inconsistency is going to happen. On the flip side of things, the Kindersley Clippers are a very old team in this league, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
So, they have no excuses. They haven't played with excuses. They really put up a big offensive number, as we said on Saturday in Melville. It's probably the first time they've really unloaded on somebody, I think. But they are a good team, and they should be doing this well.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It was a team that I thought coming into the season just had such a good returning, specifically, balance of players. They had the goalie in Brett O'Halloran, who has now bounced back, and he had a bit of a shaky start, but really not that bad at all.
Radke again jumped in.
Matthias Radke jumped in. He's filled in great. They had a group of 5 or 6 really solid returning defensemen. They had pretty much three full lines of returning guys. So I anticipated that they would get off to a really nice start because obviously a little continuity from the year prior is always going to help at the beginning of a season specifically. But they have been very, very solid. So great job, everybody over in Kindersley, and it's an exciting start. And we'll see. It's
funny. Like, I was talking to Kyle McIntyre about this, and we were just like, oh, who's the best team in the league now, blah, blah, blah. And we're just like, man, like, it's different every week, though, sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it
we're
really
just like, we're just all about Kindersley this week, and fair enough, but maybe we'll be all about somebody else next week. And
I think,
and fair enough. I'm not saying Kindersley's going to drop off. It's just been wild in terms of top of the power rankings, who's where so far.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, Nugsy. I think it's made our weekly power rankings discussion very interesting. And Kelly, our graphic designer upstairs, I actually was just talking to him earlier this morning, and he was like, well, it makes power ranking graphic design a little bit interesting every week because there's always people going up, down, up, down.
A new thing,
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, great job over there. We'll move back to maybe a little less positive talk, unfortunately, and something maybe we didn't see coming. And I wrote this one. This one's called Flin Flop instead of Flin Flon. You see the play on words there, folks? They have lost 6 in a row. Now, Nugsy, you made a really good point earlier. You alluded to it anyways. Some of these teams have been playing a lot of home games lately. They seem to be winning a lot of games. Flin Flon has been on a big road trip here recently, and they have been losing some games in some tough fashion. So I'm gonna just open the floor. I'm not gonna direct this in any way. I'm not gonna point this conversation in any way. But they have lost 6 in a row. What does that mean in your mind?
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned they're 8. I think it's 8 games in a row away from the Whitney Forum.
Right.
This is a young team. This is especially a young forward core. So Mike is going to really have to work with them on, pressure on the PK. Their PK has struggled a lot. They've gotten lots of shots. Flin Flon teams always get lots of shots.
Yeah.
They still get shots. They're just not burying them. They don't right now have that guy. And you think about the Flin Flon teams lately. They have Joey Lees, and he's been good, but, they don't have a Justin Lees. They don't have a Carter Anderson. They don't have, Ryder Ringer. Like, you go down the list of these guys who, like, you can count on day in, day out to be the offensive guys up front. Mike has done a great job working on this D-core. I think the D-core is terrific. Obviously they added Sam Ward, just recently.
Yeah,
and
that's a big addition.
They have Fauchon, who's still really good. So again, there's no reason to panic in Flin Flon land. How many times has Mike Reagan found a way to turn this ship around when we're all like, what's going on? And remember late October last year?
I was going to say, he literally did it last year.
Last year, at this point, we had the same conversation. What is going on with the Flin Flon Bombers? They brought in Matthew Keeper, and the rest was history.
Yeah.
Then they brought in Liam Hunks, and the rest was really history.
Really?
But, we'll see what Mike can do. I'm sure he's working the phones and whatever. But the last thing I'll say is maybe, and you can call me being a negative guy if you want, that's fine. But if you're a Flin Flon Bomber and you're watching this, and I've had this conversation with some people around Flin Flon too, just because you put the Flin Flon jersey on doesn't mean you're a superhero all of a sudden. Like, it is a special team. It's a special organization. You go up there, it's a great time. Everybody knows, best atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. You have to earn that jersey. And Mike Reagan, and like many coaches in this league, will make you earn staying around. I'm sure Mike's making the same message right now too. Nothing is given, everything is earned if you want to wear the maroon. And you know what? The excuse of we're away from home is legitimate from a show perspective, I guess, but it's not going to be legitimate for Mike. 1 goal, 2 goals for, 1 goal for, 2 goals for puts a lot of pressure on your goalies.
Yeah.
They haven't been great, but that's a lot of pressure on them too. So I'm sure Mike will figure it out. I'm not worried, but figure it out, players.
There you go. And again,
there's my pep talk.
As Nugsy said, to my only 2 cents is he just said it. We talked about this almost identical storyline at this point last year, and then Flin Flon won like 37 games in a row.
Yeah.
So
I think we could in this year even be like, like Wyatt Stinton, you are a superstar. Ryder Muka, you are a superstar. But they are young. They are, there's a lot of pressure on these guys to be top-line guys. How many years do we think about Flin Flon having 19, 20-year-olds as their guys that are relied on? Now they've got 18-year-olds that they're relying on. And that's a big difference, especially when you're on the road as much. So
definitely.
Tough.
Definitely. Odds and ends, Nuki, just to wrap it up. I think we had one little thing you wanted to touch on.
I love the face-off.
Love the face-off.
Face-off, boys. Didn't do it on Insider last week because we were trying to get through some things. Can we throw up the Insider, the face-off graphic, please?
Face-off forces, I believe.
Face-off forces. In the back. Can we throw it up, please?
They might be scrambling.
Give him a second.
In the meantime, I know he's going to be working on it. Why don't we show you the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week? Because I know Bryce can do that while Steven looks for the...
face-off forces. All right. So Lucas Schmid has been at the top all year, every year. Evan Auld is not an Estevan Bruin. He's a Yorkton Terrier.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyways, Cale Margolis. That might be my fault. I might have sent it wrong. Cale Margolis. Been great since coming in from Tri-City. Obviously, Tony Soupy Campbell has been brilliant for the Stars, and Rennie's just doing everything right now for Estevan, as is Rylan Williams. Let's not take anything away from our buddy and Don Williams' son, Rylan Williams, who keeps tuning in, and we appreciate Don. Shout out to Don. But you and Rennie's doing everything very well for Estevan, too. So there are your face-off leaders in the league right now.
There you go. So let's now have a look at the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week. Now, I'll preface this before we play it, Bryce. Usually, and I mean, this is pretty typical of all hockey culture, but usually the highlight of the week, the big spotlighted highlight is a big goal, a nice goal, or a big save usually. Sometimes it's a big hit. You don't often see shot blocks as the highlight of the week. But you know what? We wanted to highlight this one, and a couple of huge shot blocks in the game on Saturday, I believe it was, against the Melfort Mustangs by the block master himself, Tommy Reese of the Yorkton Terriers. Have a look.
Back to the line is a nice block there by Reese at ball forward. As he blocks another one, always sacrificing the body. Back up top to Pisquets. He takes a shot, loose puck at the side.
So Tommy Reese, we talk about him a lot as the guy who does so much more than just his offense, which we'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. Again, spoiler alert, maybe for Players of the Week. But this guy does so much, and we just had to highlight a couple of really key shot blocks late in the game to help save that shutout against the Melfort Mustangs. So shout out to Tommy Reese. There's your Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week. Why don't we have a look at the standings here quickly before we go to the Nugs and Notes, Nugsy. This is the league standings, of course, as we mentioned, the Weyburn Red Wings on top right now after 6 straight wins. They have 20 points. Kindersley, Humboldt, and Estevan all tied with 16. Nipawin with 14. They've slid a little bit, not that bad, but they're in 5th place at the moment. Flin Flon in 6th. So what are we talking about? Why are we concerned? They're still in 6th place. They're fine. But of course, they have lost 6 in a row. You see their record 6-6, Nugsy. So that means they started 6-0.
Yeah.
They're now 6-6. The Melfort Mustangs, 5-4-0-1, 11 points. Yorkton Terriers also with 11 points, and Melville with 11 points. So there's a logjam a little bit there for 7th through 9th. Battleford's with 10 points right now. They still have the fewest games played in the league. They have to just play some more games. Yeah. Larange with 9 points in 12 games, and Warman, of course, down at the bottom there at the moment with 5 points.
How about Battleford's? I know we didn't really talk about Battleford's too much this
Well,
show.
they haven't played any games.
Well, they did. They played Warman, and Battleford scored 3 shorthanded goals on the same power play.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's we got to go dig deep in the history books. I don't know if that's ever happened in hockey.
On the same power play?
Had to happen. 3 shorties on the same power play. Not great for Warman, but cool for Battleford. So there you go.
Maybe on like a 5-minute power play, like a
but
major.
it was a 2-minute minor.
That's
unbelievable.
wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
So shout out to Battlefords there, because I know maybe we skipped over them, but don't feel offended. We didn't mean to. It's just, you know, it happens. But yeah, let's have a look quickly at the division standings now. Of course, the Bungie division, it's wild right now. All 4 teams in that division having strong seasons at the moment. Maybe if you asked Emery Olausen and Doug Johnson about their records currently, if they probably, I've actually legitimately spoken to Doug Johnson in previous years about records around this mark, and he's like, that's not good. And so he called us out a little bit. I don't know if you remember that, Nugsy, but he called us out when I'm like, you have a strong season going so far. He's like, we weren't that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about process.
Exactly.
I think the best coaches are all about process.
Yeah, so it's a long season, but they're having, I think all 4 teams are having strong seasons right now. The UPL division, of course, Nipawin sits at the top right now with Flin Flon and Melfort not far behind. Larange at the bottom. And in the Nutrien division, Kindersley nearly undefeated in regulation this year with 16 points. Of course, fewer wins than Humboldt, but they've played fewer games, so therefore their point percentage is higher. That's why they're in first. Humboldt in second with 8 wins and 16 points. Battleford's in third with 10 points, and then there's Warman, of course, as well, with 5 points at the bottom there of the Nutrien division. So there's your division standings. Nugsy, let's hand it off to little Nugsy now. For Nugs and Notes. He's also excited for Game 7. Wearing the blue shirt for Game 7 today.
Way to go,
Little
Nugsy. Little Nugsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A lot of people have been asking me about the Western All-Star Showcase or Challenge, Western All-Star Challenge, sorry. Got that right. The rosters will come out late in October, is my understanding. So just be patient with that. But today was announced that the coaches of the team have been announced for Canada West even. So Trevor Blevins, the reigning CJHL Coach of the Year, the reigning SJHL championship winning coach. He'll be the head coach of Canada East, or Canada West, pardon me. Carter Hansen will be his assistant as well with Canada West. They'll be in Martinsville as well, November 3rd to 5th. The schedule we can throw up as well for the Martinsville tryout. So they're going to try out. They're going to face Team Canada or Team Manitoba U19s, and then they'll go from that, and then they'll add them to a bunch of Alberta junior leaguers, and then they'll pick a team and go out and try to win gold for Canada West at the Junior A World Challenge in December. So can we throw up the schedule quickly for Martinsville? We got that in the back. David Leklicksky.
Yeah, I think we got the schedule.
I think we have the schedule there. It's okay. Talk about some transactions then, Clark.
So we can do that.
The Warman Wolverines, they had a tough loss there. They made some moves. They have traded Nika Jean to Edmundston, who was in the Centennial last year, but they've made some moves in. Bennett Leibel, the former Saskatoon Contacts defenseman, has gone from Flin Flon to Warman, a very skilled defenseman. He'll be playing for the Warman Wolverines. And Warman also got Oliver Nottingham and Carter Bergen as well. He got Bergen from Weyburn, so a couple ads there for Brett Pilkington. The Battleford's North Stars, sent Easton Adrian to Nipawin. He's moved around a bunch lately this year. Couple times.
Yeah.
The Melfort Mustangs and also got a big left shot D-man, 18-year-old from Drumheller in the AJ named Roman Mahdi. As well. So Trevor Blevins continues to work on his team. He loves a big boy on the back end. Who doesn't, I guess? But there you go, an AJ D-man there from the Melfort Mustangs. But I do like what Brett's doing. They're in Warman, bringing in some good pieces. They need Vinny Palmerine back. Obviously, he's one of the best, if not the best, defenseman in this league when he's right. And the kid just can't buy a break. So hopefully, prayers up for prayers up for Vinny. Jacob Faith loves Vinny too.
Well, he's on my fantasy team, so I need him.
We all love Vinny.
I got to get him back. I hope he's healthy.
Get back healthy, Vinny. But,
absolutely.
But they've made some pretty good moves there in Warman. I like the direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with you there.
Nugs and notes.
All right. Well, let's take a break, because on the other side of the break, the man himself is in. The man, the myth, the legend, Marty Martinson, voice of the Estevan Bruins, of course. He'll be joining us, so stay tuned for after the break.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, coming back in here, folks. Welcome back to SJHL Weekly. Of course, Clark with Jamie. And I think we're just waiting a little bit. Maybe I had a technical difficulty with Marty Martinson, if I'm not mistaken. So, Nugsy, we can just kind of dive in a little bit more. Did we get that graphic, Steven, or is it lost forever?
For the Martinsville schedule?
The schedule one? No, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we can talk a little bit more about that if you want. The schedule, it's November 3rd to 5th in Martinsville.
Yeah.
Not Marty Martinson, Martinsville, the town. So obviously it's exciting time. So yeah, you mentioned the rosters are coming out a little bit later, but can you maybe just go over the schedule? Because I know the first couple days practices, and then there's 2 games as well, right?
Yeah, it's the same as last year, except in Martinsville. So evening game on the 4th, and then an early morning game or 11:30 game on the 5th. Should be a lot of fun. MJHL, SJHL U19s for the chance to do that. I also have information, and it'll be coming out more officially as time goes on, but I feel comfortable enough to say that the Viking Cup in December, late December, the teams that are going to be at that in Camrose, that Team SJHL U20s, and I'll have this more on socials and on our website closer as it goes along, but I saw the list of teams that are going to be involved with the Viking Cup, and it should be very interesting. There's going to be 2 ACAC teams, so 2 Alberta college teams. There, I believe it's SAIT and Augustana of Edmonton.
Yep.
And then Midland University in Nebraska.
Cool.
And then a team of Czechia College All-Stars as well will take on SJHL 20-year-olds. So hey, you're a 20-year-old in this league, maybe even a 19-year-old or 2, I think. Maybe they'll send an 06 or 2. I'm not sure about that, but it's a great opportunity to go. If you could go out there and hang and even dominate like a 22, 23, 24-year-old with a beard, like they do in
Yeah.
college hockey anyway, then I think that makes you look really, really, really good to then go play college hockey somewhere, university hockey somewhere. So that should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be an interesting spin on some stuff that we haven't seen in a while in our league. This used to happen, sort of, in a way. The Viking Cup is a thing that's been around for a while, and we just haven't been involved.
Not for a while.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
It was around for a while,
years ago. It was like 9 years ago was the last one, I think.
But we haven't been involved in it, and that was a big reason we put these jerseys on the desk today, is not only the Western All-Star Challenge coming up, which they don't wear these jerseys for, of course. They wear Hockey Canada jerseys. But it was just a fun little decoration for the desk, I thought, a couple old showcase jerseys. But you know what? I believe we have the man, Marty, back in, ready to roll. So let's bring him in now. Marty Martinson of the Estevan
Look at that
Bruins.
beautiful beard.
Oh, yeah.
What
Marty,
a bearded show we got today, Marty.
Things are going well right now in the Energy City, it seems like. Marty, how have things gone in the last week or two for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say big thanks for having me on there, guys. Sorry, a couple of connection issues right at the end there, but we're up and ready to roll here. I'll tell you what, things have been good here in the Energy City. You look at this Bruins team here, there's a lot of excitement in the community, all around the team here heading into this year. And this group really delivered here to start this year. It's been a fun team to watch, and lots of excitement, lots of goal scoring. Some rookie standouts there, some returning vets that we anticipated would be, big-time players again this year, and they've really shone through. So it's been a fun group to be a part of, and just happy to be along for the ride here.
Well, let's talk specifically about this past week, because it was a big week for the team, obviously. I know they haven't lost a game in six, regulation, I guess I should say, game in 6 games, but it feels like this last week was a real big statement, beating Melfort last weekend and then Nipawin and Flin Flon this week. Just talk to me about this past 3 games and what has really stood out to you in this win streak altogether.
Yeah, well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. This group is just feeling it right now. And what's really stood out to me is the way they're seeing those contributions all throughout the lineup. It's a long season. We talk about it all the time. You need those different guys contributing in those tangible ways, chipping in on the offensive side of things. And you look at that last game, the big win over Flin Flon, and it's Ewan Rennie, of course, coming through. He's been Mr. Everything for this Bruins team here again this year, scoring his first hat trick of his SJHL career. And, what a special moment for him. And then you look at a guy like Chase Holt, right? He had his first 2-goal game over the weekend there as well. You got Oliver Cramp pitching in with a shorthanded goal there. Obviously, Rylan Williams is right up there, sitting 3rd in league scoring, just back of Reddy and Jacob Streetsy there. So it's been awesome to see here. It's the contributions all throughout. And then you look even between the pipes. You look at what Dylan Adams been able to do, since coming in here. He's one of those veteran guys. And then, since Cam's come in, you got Carr as well, just picking up real timely wins for this group. And it doesn't matter who's between the pipes or what the lineup might look like. You got different guys contributing and everybody's pulling their weight. And it's been a fun thing to watch here, just seeing this team really come together as a unit.
Marty, we got to talk about my favorite Estevan Bruin, though. You didn't talk about my favorite Estevan Bruin, and that is the man
Bruno
himself,
the Bear.
Ethan Andrews. No, Ethan Andrews. Unfortunately, the kid is allergic to everything, but nobody in the league has a bigger smile than Ethan Andrews. What a treat to have him around, I'm sure. Just always such a cheerful dude, a great leader. Just talk about the steps that he's taken to be such a monster this year for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely is, Nugsy. I mean, like you talked about, what else can you say about Andrews? He's one of those guys coming back here. He's the only returning member of the Bruins blue line from a season ago. And, he's an alternate captain with the team this year. He's already set new career highs for goals and points in a single season, top 10 in league points as well. So he's been fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, he's been a big part of back there, just being a calming influence with the really young Bruins back end. We've got a lot of real young players on this team that have played tremendous hockey here to start the year, but you always need that veteran presence. And when you got a guy like Ethan Andrews back there playing with a guy like Ethan Lang as well on that top D pairing, boy, they've been really impressive to watch there. It's always fun when you get kind of the grizzled vet who's been around. He knows all about kind of the SJ game. And then you got a young up and coming superstar in the making there guy like Aiden Lang, who's the top defenseman in the Manitoba U18 AAA League last year, and he stepped right in. He's not going to be 18 years old till December, and he's already playing top pairing minutes for this Bruins team. So it's been fun to watch. And for Andrews, everything you need. He's blocking shots on the penalty kill. He's quarterback of the power play. And again, anytime you're a D-man in the top 10 of league scoring, you're doing something right.
And he's on the all SJHL big smile team. When he smiles, he fills the room with a smile. One of the best smiles in the league.
Yeah, we'll be doing next week. We'll be launching our all smile team.
Oh, what a beauty.
Roster.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not sure about that, Bryce. Thank you. We have to talk about, I think, a little bit of the administrational side of things, Marty, with Drew Kosher obviously in his first full year as the non-interim head coach and GM of the team. Obviously, he made a couple of big splashes in the offseason. And then that slew of rookie signings, of course. Obviously, a lot of those guys have filled up the roster this year. What can you tell me, because I know you've dealt with several coaches now in your time in the league. What can you tell me about the early results and the early returns, I should say, from Drew Kosher and just his impact and presence with the team?
Yeah, I mean, how much time do we have here? 40 minutes going to be good here?
All the time you want, buddy.
That's right. Yeah, no, for Drew, I mean, all kidding aside, this guy's just always at the rink. I mean, you see him, he's either on the track, he's making phone calls, or he's down there, he's with the guys, and I think what he does so well is he relates to the guys, he presents the message there, he's a motivator, right? He gets the guys playing hard, and I think we saw that even last year, came in a bit of a tough circumstance there, as far as being late in the year and things like that. But we saw this Bruins team a little bit of, a foreshadowing of what was to come here now heading into this year. They're a hard team. They work that puck. They compete. You look at the leadership group here. They set the tone, right? It all comes from the top on down. And I think that's the case with any successful organization. When you got a guy who cares about his players, cares about his team like he does, he's out there working on skills with them there after practice, things like that. That goes a long way. And, you look at a guy like Tucker as well. I mean, he's been a great addition to the coaching staff as well. And, when you got a couple of those guys, I mean, they want to win as bad as anybody in this league. And, just to see that work ethic, I mean, if I'm working late, chances are they're down there in the office too. So if I need anything, it's been great to see. And then, just as far as kind of the style of play, I mean, this Bruins team has just been a fun group to watch. You talk about speed, lines 1 through 4, even on the back end there, you talk about the young blue line. All these guys can move and make plays, and so it's made for a fun brand of hockey, and it's easy to buy into too, right? When you're playing an aggressive brand, you're on your toes, you're pressuring the opposition, all 200 feet on the ice. It makes for a fun product here, and we've seen some of the reward come in the offensive production that we've seen. Like I was saying, kind of lines 1 through 4 with some different guys on pace to really just obliterate their previous career highs.
Yeah, awesome. It is a fun to watch team. I've watched them a few times live now, and they're never out of a game. And if you don't start on time, they're going to blow you out. So that's the way it goes. I got 2 more, Clark. So I'll go with one. What are you doing, Marty? You're making yearbooks. Tell everyone you're revolutionizing the game with this with the media and everything you're doing. Just take us into Marty's world here too, because I know the Estevan faithful. They love their Bruins, and so you're doing some cool things. Adam Shirley's doing some cool things. What's going on in Estevan world these days?
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up there, Nugsy. It's been a real exciting time, This is what we've got going on here, kind of the recent release of this bad boy. It's the first ever Estevan Bruins yearbook, volume 1 there you can see on it. Oops, there we go. Got the inverted camera there. Volume 1 there, and as you can see, we got Carter on right here, local boy front and center. We got the captain, Rory Elson. We got Ewan Rennie, who's leading the league in scoring as well. And, what this is it's really an opportunity to kind of get everything Bruins all in one place, Like for the yearbook, it's got feature articles on different players, like these 3 guys on the front cover. It talks about some of the big blockbuster moves that, the staff made in the offseason. They're Drew and company, bringing in guys like Rylan Williams, bringing in Colton Getzlaff, and, recruiting them to come here and play in Estevan. And, it's a credit to the staff there of saying to these guys, hey, come check it out. And then if you still want to go play elsewhere, you sure can. But we just want you to see what it's like. And then for the guys too, they come, they check it out, they hear from the other guys, and they go, I want to be part of this thing too. So for the yearbook here, we've got things on commitments from the last year. We've got write-ups there, feature articles. Here's on kind of the Ellison piece, all kinds of things. And then for the first edition, something that we added as well to kind of get a little bit of a nod to some of the alumni and things like that. Did a little reflection on the 2022 championship team. And so I caught up with a couple of great guys there. Boston below us, of course, was a playoff MVP, and Dayton Deeks as well. I mean, just a couple of all-time guys, and got kind of their memories from that championship season as well. So it's been fun. It's got everything from, team events out in the community to our different fundraising things, and then write-ups on the players, everybody's headshots, autographs for the kids. So and a little bit of trivia as well. So it's kind of the one-stop shop and a little bit of a kind of a memento there and a keepsake, we hope, that Bruins fans can keep for years to come.
That's awesome. Good job on that. And one guy who was around during that championship year, and you know what, Marty, I don't know if you remember, I know you do, but I was working with the Bruins back in 2014 to 2016, and he's been around all that time. He's still there. Aaron Miller, he's the goaltending coach, and he's been around forever, it feels like, with the Estevan Bruins. And you mentioned Dylan Adams earlier. You mentioned the two young guys who have come in and they're battling right now for that backup role. What can you tell me about Aaron Miller's impact on those guys? And then also on top of that, maybe just talk a little bit about Dylan Adams, because obviously a 19-year-old, it's kind of maybe his job right now. He's played more games than the other two, of course. So what can you tell me about Aaron Miller's impact on this team, and just because he's a local guy, what a great dude he is, and then Dylan Adams as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Totally. Sorry. It was, I'm just, I'm in the rink here, so I was just having trouble hearing.
Oh.
So Aaron Miller, and then who was the second person you said?
Dylan Adams, just his impact as a 19-year-old goaltender for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about Drew and Tucker there, and as you mentioned, I mean, for Aaron Miller, I mean, he's just one of those guys. Anytime you got a guy with his experience, and obviously everybody here in Estevan knows him and what he does for this team as well. And the goaltending's been such a big part of the team's success there. I mean, you look at, like we're saying, when you got a guy like Dylan Adams there in between the pipes, I always say he's as cool as a cucumber in the produce aisle. He is so smooth, and his ability to not only make saves, but make them look easy, right? Like, that's what you want out of your goaltender. You want a guy, anything up in the glove area, it's into the Venus flytrap. He's got it there. He's calming the waters for his team. So he's been unbelievable. And, you look at him, it seems like he's one of those guys. Doesn't matter if he's facing 40 shots on the night, he's going to just keep it cool, keep it calm, and give his team a chance to win. And he's been awesome to have. It's been a real big thing. You look at what Nathan Cam has done and Brady Carr as well. I mean, anytime you got two goaltenders, never mind three, that can win you any given game, that's always a good sign for team success. And but really, for me, it still starts with Adams. You need that veteran guy, and he's as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned. Just watching some of those saves he makes, he's got that glove, snapping pucks up. So it's been fun to see, and really looking forward to seeing what all he can do this year, because I know he's in for a big season.
There you go. Yeah, last one from me, Marty. And I don't know if you could see on the screen there, Don Williams just saying the yearbook is epic. Chelsea Gladu saying that you can announce a whole pregame and game with the hiccups. And obviously Chelsea is also a Battleford's fan. So I got, it seems like you got that sort of bringing Battlefords to Estevan and helping them win sort of thing going on there with Ry Guy Williams and Sheck and Getzlaff, and the list goes on. So you got sort of Estevan Battlefords blended going on there, some of the best of both worlds. But there, I got to ask you then, Marty, since you can do the hiccups and everything pregame, I got some big shoes to fill, because I'm going to be filling in for a game for you on November 1st. So do you have any advice for me about how to do a good job calling a game for the Estevan Bruins?
Oh, any advice? Oh, dude, I got no advice for you. You know what you're doing. And, everybody loves listening to you on the call as well. So it's going to be a great time, and really appreciate you filling in that. We had a great, broadcast crew filling in over the weekend here as well. I was actually gone out for some wedding activities. A good friend of mine getting married. But we had John filling in there. Boy, I don't want to say his name wrong here. John P. there from Weyburn. and also on the color there as well. Let me just pick out the names here again. John Priette there. That's right. And Brent Pearson on the color there. They did a great job over the weekend, and I know you're going to do awesome stuff as always there, Nugsy, on the first. And that's what it's all about. For me, it's just about bringing the game to life there for the fans listening in. And even though I maybe wasn't in the booth for these last couple of games, just to see some of these guys, flourishing in the way that they have and stuff, it's been awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing just this continued success of this group. It's been a real treat to watch so far.
Nugsy asking Marty for advice is like Peyton Manning asking Tom Brady for advice. I feel like you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Learn from everywhere you can. Marty and I have talked a bunch about how much we love Rob Hart, and he and I are both like, how can we be more like Rob Hart? So you got to keep learning in this business, right, Marty?
Absolutely. Marty, last one for me here, and it deals with the whole division, because I think you've seen every team in the Bungie division so far. Maybe not, but I think you have. It seems like a really, really dynamic division this year. Can you just fill me in, maybe on your thoughts, your perspectives on the other three teams in the Bungie division really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's one thing about me, I love talking some Bruins. I love talking some SJHL, and that whole division is just going to be just a great back and forth all season long. You look at teams like Weyburn, obviously what they've been able to do. So many of those guys, I know you're talking about them before, but the Schmids and the Moldies stepping in. You got a guy like Rowan Burgess leading all rookies in scoring. He had that hat trick in a 4-point game against the Bruins there earlier in the year. So it's been fun to watch there. And, I'm a big believer that that's what you want to see. You want the teams that you're rivals with to do well, because it makes the rivalry games that much funner. You want to see everybody doing well. You want to see teams getting on streaks and players doing well. And then when you come into the building, it's not just the Bruins players you're watching, but it's these different matchups, right? It's who's hot over here, who's bringing in the scoring streak on that other team as well. And, it's that old iron sharpens iron. So you're playing the division a lot. Let's get some great rivalry games going on. But yeah, Weyburn certainly has been right up there. I mentioned some of their guys. You look at Yorkton as well, that Corsaine, he's been unbelievable. Spark plug guy. Boy, he can move and play with that puck as well. And, for Melville as well, I thought that Devin Winder has been unbelievable. He was just an absolute thorn in the side for the Bruins in that game to start the year in that opening home and home back and forth. Big body. Boy, he could fire that puck. He had that one-timer, almost put it through the net. So it's been fun to watch there. Lots of players of interest. You look at what Harkness has been doing on that Melville back end as well. So it's been fun to watch. And then, again, for Bruins fans here, you look at guys, I mentioned Burgess for the Red Wings. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up some Cash Olsen here coming on the program, second in rookie points. He's been a real just energizer bunny there on that top line as well. Just constantly in motion, pressuring the opposition and putting up 11 points through his first 12 games as well. So it's been a lot of fun to watch here, and great to see the league and so many of these different players shining in these different markets. But in particular here in Estevan, there's been lots to like here through the early going this season.
So last one, and then we'll let you go, Marty, because I know you got lots going on. Obviously, you see we're both wearing Blue Jays jerseys here today. Do you have any plans? What's the plans tonight for Game 7? Are you going to be watching?
Oh, is there a baseball game happening?
I'm out. See you later.
No, that's right. Of course, cheering them on. It's Canada's team, isn't it? So it's just like the Raptors. You got to jump on that train. Even if you're not following baseball, the 162 games all year, you got to jump on in the biggest moments. And just like those Estevan Bruins, I'm sure those Blue Jays will be pulling through, right? They just need their Rylan Williams, Ewan Rennie connection to come through, and they'll be moving
Ethan
on.
Andrews.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the Ewan Rennie of the Major League Baseball. I love it. All right, thanks, Marty. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for jumping in, and we'll chat again soon.
Hey, always great catching up, and thanks for having me on there, guys. And you always do a great job, so pleasure coming on.
Thanks,
Appreciate that. There you go, Marty Martinson. Always a great time with Marty. Love that. We're going to take another break. When we come back, if you're checking social media, you know it's out already, but we got Players of the Week for you. We'll give you an update on the schedule coming up this week and a little bit more, so stay tuned until after the break.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinet 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel student deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Welcome back to IKS Weekly. That's not it. Welcome back to SJHL Weekly from the IKS Media Studios.
It works.
Clark with Jamie here. We got Players of the Week coming up, and we're also going to do an SJHL Media Fantasy League update. We just got the update. Jacob Faith off screen.
Thanks, Jacob.
He just did the update for us. So Nugsie's going to update that in just a moment. But let's get to the Players of the Week now with, oh, we didn't put it in. We have the brand new Players of the Week draft.
But if we had the right year this time, that's good.
Yeah. So, anyways, Players of the Week. We talked about him about 75 times today already.
Cool.
And it's Estevan Bruins forward. Ewan Rennie, of course, the SGEU MVP of the week. Ewan Rennie, a hat trick versus Flin Flon in the big win there. 8 points in 3 games this week. What a stud. He's had a big week. So shout out to Ewan Rennie. Again, we talked about him a lot today. The Borgo forward of the week. We're going to head over to Kindersley and look at Avery Johnson, who had a big week himself. 7 points in 4 games. Cool. Nugsy loves this guy. He was a big fan of him when he came in last year.
Still am.
You called him a guy who probably could lead the league in scoring this year, and he had a big week. He's on his way, climbing up the leaderboards for sure. Sticking with the Kindersley Clippers, let's go to the Super U defenseman of the week. It's Russ Demo. Look at the points on that one. 8 points this week.
You could say he did some demo.
He demonstrated a great week. I don't know. Bad.
He demolished the Melville Lane.
Demolished.
Sorry, Melville.
There you go. So there you go. Shout out to Russ Demo. 8 points in 4 games. Defenseman of the week. SaskTel goaltender of the week. We're going to head to the Weyburn Red Wings. Preston Patnode with 2 wins, a 1.92 GAA, and a 944 save percentage with 67 saves in 2 games. Big week there, and a big reason why the Weyburn Red Wings have not lost in 6 games. Sask Milk Rookie of the Week, we're going to stay in the pipes, but we'll go down the highway to Estevan for Brady Carr, who had a big win, a 28 save performance, 1 goals against, obviously, and a 966 save percentage there. That was the game against Nipawin, I believe. Yep. So big win there in the battle of the black and golds. And then the Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week. This guy, I think, has won an award every single week so far. I think, or close to it.
Something like that.
Thomas Reese, of course, of the Yorkton Terriers, 4 points this week. Another solid performance by the man we showed you earlier, who had 2 huge block shots in the 3rd period of that win over the Melfort Mustangs. So there you go. There's our Players of the Week. So shout out there. Now, Nugsy, you specifically got some tough news about 45 seconds ago when Jacob Faith told you that you were in last place of the SJHL Fantasy League. Who's in first place, Nugsy? Can you give us give the people an update?
So Clark is in first with 98 points because he loves the Estevan Bruins, especially. You and Rennie and Ryan Williams are both on his team, and they're first and third in scoring. So that helps. Second is IKS Crew, the boys in the back. They're doing a wonderful job in everything, but including in fantasy. Jacob Streetsy is up there with them. Rowan Burgess having a great year too. I talked to Jacob Streetsy a little bit this morning. I said, "Oh, what a year, man! You're having crazy." He's like, "I'm not in first in points. It's not good enough."
Well, there you go.
All right, Jacob.
There you go. High standards. Love that.
He's not and he wants to win bad as well, I should say. Jacob, I believe, is in third, just barely. He's got all his Flin Flon boys in there. Wyatt Stinton's leading his way, but he's just deep, solid all the way through. And then Benny and the Jets. Boston Harkness is having a monster year, continuing. He's got Granger as well for Battleford's having a wonderful year. Yeah. And then in last place is somebody else, but that's not important. I'm in last place, but that's okay. It's early. Gabe Corshane, Turner McIntyre, and I also should say I picked Cale Margolis, and he hadn't even played yet when I picked him.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Which it'll be fun. It's all within 14 points, and it's only October.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like 14 points.
It's like if you're a Battleford or Larange or Warman fan, it's only October. You think about October or even Flin Flon, if you're a Flin Flon fan, how much do you remember October like late last year? You don't at all, really, right? So calm down.
I hear a lot of talking coming out of Nugsy because he's used to being in first place.
Settle down.
He's used to being in first place, and we're all the ones just like worshiping at his feet. But now the tides have turned. But like you said, it's only a 14-point difference with 10 players.
We'll be fine.
10 players on each team. 14 points is a good week. So like honestly, it's not that big.
I need old Jack Turchak back. That's what I need.
Yeah, and I need Vinny
I'm sure
Palmerine.
Kindersley wants him back too.
I could use Vinny Palmerine back as well. So let's do that. But absolutely, it's been a great start for the fantasy league. It's exciting times. So let's have a look now at the upcoming schedule. Of course, only one weekday game outside of Friday, of course. But only one weekday. I call Friday a weekend. I think Friday's a weekend. Sure. But tomorrow night, there's 2 games. Is there not 3 games tomorrow night?
No, there's only 2.
Let me just double check that.
No,
just the 2.
Two,
so Larange is in Nipawin and Kindersley is in Humboldt.
That'll be good.
That's going to be a great game. Obviously, the game to watch, of course. Nothing against Larange and Nipawin. That's going to be a great game as well. Of course, the UPL division rivalry there, but the Nutrien division rivalry, 2 of the top teams in the league right now, Kindersley and Humboldt. That's going to be a doozy. So, Nugsy, last word to you, I guess, before we kind of wrap things up. What's coming up this week that you got your eyes set on? Can you get past what's happening with the Blue Jays tonight at all?
No,
or is it
I can't.
One day at a time?
I woke up in a weird mood, and I'm still in a weird mood, all because of this Blue Jays game. I hope it's more Shane and less Justin on the mound today.
Love that.
That's all I got to say.
Love that. Not Justin, Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
We will have the 2 games for you, of course. We'll have you all covered in order to keep on top of everything going on in the SJHL. Forget the Blue Jays for a sec, but for the SJHL, make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels. Of course, that starts with Facebook, of course, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and make sure we're inching closer to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just every week we get a couple more. So if you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet, please go do that. We're getting close to 2,000. That'd be awesome if we could get there. And of course, you can see it in this little corner here. Watch on Flow Hockey. Get your Flow Hockey subscription. You can see every single game all season long. If you get your subscription. So get that now. And of course, one more big thank you to all of our sponsors, and that starts with Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vaderstad. So shout out to all of our sponsors, of course. UPL, our big broadcast sponsor. They got the beautiful hat from last year's playoff run on the desk right now. I wear that hat all the time.
And can I say, I'm so glad you're back.
Oh, thank
you. I missed you. I'm sure SJHL fans missed you. I knew you were doing a very good thing. You were out there helping coach kids baseball.
Yeah, it was actually
so
a really fun trip.
But I did miss you.
Yeah, and my sister texted me because I was sharing all of the SJHL game day videos, of course, the daily videos we put out when there's games. And my sister's like, aren't you on an airplane? How did you record this video on Saturday?
You're pulling the curtain back.
And I'm like, well, I might have done a little work before I left. But either way, glad to be back. It's going to be a great week across the league, so make sure you get out to the rinks. It all starts tomorrow night in Nipawin and Humboldt, so make sure you get to those games. It's going to be a great time. Go Blue Jays. Try not to freak out too much tonight if you are a Blue Jays fan. Nugsy, deep breaths, okay? And we'll see you again on Thursday for SJHL Insider. And I just want to say this before we go. This week, we're starting, Nugsy, the Friday Night Spotlight, which, of course, is presented now by Canalta Hotels and IKS Media. So it's going to be a great time. This week's featured game, well, we talked about we'll talk about both of the teams. They both play tomorrow night, but Nipawin is in Humboldt, and that's going to be a fantastic game on Friday night. So it's going to be a 30-ish minute pre-game show that we're going to post on our social media platforms, just like this. And then we're also going to put it on the Flow Hockey stream as well. We'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed that works correctly, but it sounds like it will. So we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great show. We'll interview coaches, probably the coaches from either side, but a member of either team. We're going to update you on the league entirely, and then we'll focus in on the matchup. So that's going to be the Friday Night Spotlight presented by Canalta Hotels and IKS Media. So it's going to be a great time, Nugsy. Can't wait for it. But again, Insider Thursday, and we'll bring you the new Friday Night Spotlight on Friday. So enjoy the week, folks. Enjoy the game tonight, the baseball game, and we'll talk to you again on Thursday.
That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that would do it. Huh?